Hello, Chujin here, and in this video I will talk about visual novel Kickstarters. So Kickstarter is a great way for smaller companies or creators to collect funds for projects they're unable to fund themselves, after which they will either do nothing as it was all a scam, or deliver a product that is nowhere near the quality they promised, leaving a bitter aftertaste for anyone dumb enough to back the project. In this video, I will talk about Kickstarters made for translating and producing goods for Japanese visual novels. Now, in these cases, the visual novels are already made, and information about their quality is available as they've already been released in Japan. Furthermore, most of these are done by companies that have a history of localizing visual novels, and continue to do so afterwards, which should mean that they would want to avoid getting a bad reputation. These things considered, these Kickstarters shouldn't be that bad. Right? Now, as for why these companies do Kickstarters, well, one reason could be that the vast majority of the visual novel readers seem to pirate their visual novels, and by doing a Kickstarter, they can basically force people to actually pay for the visual novel to get localized. Extortion at its finest. Now then, let's go on to the main thing, actually talking about Kickstarters themselves. First off, I will start with Sekai Project, who were basically the company that started this trend of visual novel translation Kickstarters. The first Kickstarter by Sekai Project was for some headphones, so let's just ignore that and start with World End Economica, their first visual novel Kickstarter. The Kickstarter for World End Economica was made to translate episode 2 and 3 of this visual novel written by the author of Spice and Wolf. The Kickstarter started June 2014 with an estimated delivery date for the rewards being May 2015. As for when these rewards were actually delivered, well, episode 3 released December 2016. Then for the physical copy of the visual novel, well, it's not delivered. It's been more than 7 years since the Kickstarter started. In other disappointing news for the backers, the Vita version was also cancelled. So looking at their first Kickstarter, all I can say is that this was an astounding success. Then on to their next Kickstarter for Fault Milestone 1, which started June 2014 with an estimated delivery of December 2015. The digital release for this was December 2014, and a physical art book was shipped July 2016. So I think they managed to deliver things fairly reasonably within this Kickstarter. Well, if it went for the Vita release, that was never released. October 2014, Sekai Project started the Kickstarter for the Hourglass of Ledoptera. February 2016, this Kickstarter was cancelled as the developers SRL got banned by Steam for using paid reviews. Then, November 2014, Sekai Project did a Kickstarter for a really big title, Clannad. Clannad being one of the most well-known and highly rated visual novels, also having a popular anime adaptation. The estimated delivery for this Kickstarter was October 2015, and the digital release of the visual novel was December 2015, with the physical being March 2016. So there was a bit of a delay, but by Kickstarter standards I would say that this delay was rather short. Also, it seems like the quality of the physical release was really good, so all in all, it seems like they actually did a good job with this Kickstarter. Maybe they knew that pissing off thousands of Clannad fans was a bad idea. Then shortly after, in December 2014, they did another Kickstarter for a pretty big title, the Grisaya trilogy, a well-known popular visual novel with a not-so-good anime adaptation. Now, did Sekai Project keep up the good work from the Clannad Kickstarter? No, what do you expect? This is a video about Kickstarters, so what went wrong? Well, the estimated delivery was October 2015. The last visual novel in the trilogy, Eden of Grisaya, got released April 2017. As for the physical copy, well, January 2016 the outer box in Fruit of Grisaya was delivered. The rest of it, well, that came in a bit more than 2 years later, April 2018. Now, I didn't back this Kickstarter myself, but I found a video of somebody unboxing it.
A very terrible experience with Sekai Project. I cannot wait to finally be done with them. I never want to look back again. I don't want to deal with them ever again. I don't want to buy a single one of their products. I'm through with them. I don't want to have anything to do with them.
As for the quality of the physical release, well, it seems rather lackluster, with thin cardboard, basic DVD cases, and they don't have 18 plus content. Early in 2019, the original company Frontwing also released a new physical English edition, Grisaya the Complete Box, which is a really premium, good-looking physical edition with lots of extras, and the 18 plus content of the visual novel is on the disc. Then, late 2019, they released a physical Nintendo Switch version in Japan that also has English subtitles. So if you want the collector's item, your best option is Grisaya the Complete Box. If you want a convenient physical edition, well, there is the Switch release, and if you want depression, well, the physical edition from the Kickstarter is your best bet. Now, let's move on from a depressing Kickstarter to a depressing visual novel, Narcosu. So the Kickstarter for Narcosu 10th Anniversary Anthology Project started October 2015 with an estimated delivery of April 2016. As for the actual delivery, well, it got a digital release January 2016. The physical release, well, they're still working on it, okay? Don't rush them. January 2016, Sekai Project started a Kickstarter for Root Double with an estimated delivery of March 2016. The digital release got delivered April 2016 and the physical release November 2016. So for the PC release things went fairly smooth. What about the Vita port estimated for March 2017? Well, North America got the digital release March 2018. Europe got it July 2020. Then the physical copy was released November 2020. In August 2016, Sekai Project launched the Kickstarter for Chrono Clock with an estimated delivery of January 2017. February 2017, they released the digital version and everyone was happy until they found out that the translation was shit. Then they decided to retranslate it and they're currently working on it. As for the physical release, well, they haven't released it yet, but it seems they will soon, before the translation is fixed. The next Kickstarter was for the visual novel trilogy A Clockwork Leyline, which started February 2017, with an estimated delivery of January 2018. The first part got a digital release December 2017, then they found out that this release was kind of shit, as there were some major problems with the horrible game engine, so they've been working on that ever since, with the two next parts not having been released yet. May 2017, Sekai Project started the Kickstarter for Hoshizora no Memoria, which has an estimated delivery of September 2018. The visual novel released digitally November 2017 and was quickly followed by an apology for its bad translation and promises of a retranslation. So it is currently being retranslated, and the fan disc, which was part of a stretch goal, is not out yet. They are working on a HD release though, which they will give as a free update, and it will be used for the physical edition, so the backers are going to get a better product than what they originally were promised, which will probably suit their age once they get it in 2035. Then for Sekai Project's latest Kickstarter, the Kickstarter for Rewrite Plus, that started October 2019 with an estimated delivery of January 2021. Well, nothing's been released yet. COVID should work as an excuse for at least a few more years of delays. So Sekai Project has had some problems with their Kickstarters, some having bad translations, some having long delays for the digital release, most having a really goddamn long delay for the physical release, and Vita fans being shafted. This is just one company though, so it being bad with Kickstarters won't mean that others will also be bad. Now then, let's get into Kickstarters from Frontwing. This is a Japanese visual novel developer, and they were the ones who made the Grisaya trilogy. After the success of the Grisaya trilogy Kickstarter, they figured, hey, they could just do this themselves, and started translating and publishing visual novels for the English market. So their first Kickstarter was for Sharon no Kuni, a really well-known popular visual novel from another developer, Akabesoft 2. This Kickstarter is under Tokyo Otaku mode for some reason, but it is handled by Frontwing. The Kickstarter started November 2016 with an estimated delivery of October 2017. As for its release, well, it is hopefully coming out by the end of the month. There is also a Vita release that was cancelled. March 2017, Frontwing started the Kickstarter for Grisaya Phantom Trigger. Now, while Grisaya Phantom Trigger is called Grisaya, to my knowledge it doesn't share any of the same characters with the Grisaya trilogy, but it's just set in the same world. Now this is kind of a complex Kickstarter situation, with the series being divided into different parts, with there being 3 Kickstarters and 1 Indiegogo covering volume 1 to 5. As for the digital delivery, they seem to have done fairly well. Then for the physical delivery, well, volume 1 and 2 seem to have been delivered sometime during the first half of 2019. The rest, well...
Where's the rest of them? There's 3, 4.
Also, there's a physical Switch version for volume 1 to 5 in Japan with English subtitles. So yeah, screw prioritizing Kickstarters. August 2017, Frontwing started another Kickstarter for a well-known visual novel by another developer, Wonderful Everyday. The estimated delivery being January 2018 and the digital release being August 2017. The physical, well, people are still waiting. Now for a title actually produced by Frontwing again, Mamoru Closet, which had its Kickstarter started February 2018, the estimated delivery being July 2018. Its digital release was May 2018, and if you pledge for the physical copy, well, you're fucked. Then for the latest Kickstarter from Frontwing, the Kickstarter for Ireland, which started August 2018. This Kickstarter was just for producing a physical edition and physical goods, as the visual novel released digitally the same month. For this they actually released the physical edition. Oh wait, that's the Switch release for Japan featuring the English language option. Never mind, false alarm, the Kickstarter physical edition is still being produced. Well then, Frontwing in general, other than the Sharon no Kuni Kickstarter, they are good at delivering digital releases. As far as physical releases go, well, they're quite good, as long as those physical releases are Switch releases outside of the Kickstarter. Then on to Solpress, a visual novel publisher that started off with their Kickstarter for Sakura Sakura August 2017. The estimated delivery for this project was December 2017, as for when it was actually released, well, November 2018 for the digital edition, and the physical edition, well, it's still being worked on, but you know, they gave us an update about a year ago, so don't worry about it. December 2017, they started the Kickstarter for Newton and the Apple Tree, with an estimated delivery of May 2018. It released digitally August 2018. The physical edition, what do you expect? Then on to their last Kickstarter, which started February 2019, for Iratoridori no Sekai. This Kickstarter, they wanted to make sure that they had a good time to complete it, so the estimated delivery is December 2021. Will they manage to deliver anything before the end of the year? Probably not. Even if they do manage to deliver it though, the Kickstarter will end up being disappointing regardless, as they didn't hit the stretch goal for the rest of the series, leaving it incomplete. So Solpress in general is kind of not too good with the whole Kickstarter thing, with digital releases being delayed a bit and them not having released anything physical yet. Also, they've decided to stop licensing more visual novels, meaning they're out of the visual novel business once they've released the titles they have licenses for. So yeah, I wonder if they will ever even produce these physical copies. Then on to the Muv-Luv Kickstarter, a really large Kickstarter for the Muv-Luv series, which raised over $1 million. This Kickstarter started September 2015 with an estimated delivery of September 2016. The digital release of Alternative was September 2017. The physical release was July 2018. A 2-year delay on physical copies might sound bad, but by visual novel Kickstarter standards, it's actually pretty good. December 2015, the Kickstarter for Libra of the Vampire Princes started with an estimated delivery of November 2016. The digital release was June 2017, and the physical was May 2017. So this would have been a pretty good Kickstarter, if only the sun didn't explode, that is. Turns out the translation was kinda shit. Yes, this is from the actual translation. Since then, they have been working on retranslating it, and well, it's going rather slowly. The Dies Irae Kickstarter started December 2016, with an estimated delivery of May 2017. As for when it was actually delivered, well, June 2017 for the digital release, and April 2018 for the physical release. There's also a Vita version that has not yet been released. The last update for the Kickstarter was February 2019, and the company disbanded March 2019. Good luck, Vita fans. June 2019, Nekonyansoft started a Kickstarter to produce physical copies and goods for the visual novel Arcana, with an estimated delivery of December 2019. The digital release was September 2019, and the physical release shipped out September 2020. Now, while there was a delay on the physical release, I think this is rather understandable, as most of this delay was due to COVID. Then, February 2021, Nekonyan started a Kickstarter for Kinkoi Golden Loverish to produce a physical edition and physical goods. The estimated delivery date is December 2021, and it was released digitally June 2021. And of course, the physical release is not out yet, as there is still a while until the estimated delivery. The Kickstarter for Venus Blood Frontier by Ninetail started September 2018, with an estimated delivery date of December 2019. 2019 came around, and they actually released the digital and the physical version of the visual novel. So as a Kickstarter, this was just a complete failure. Where's the drama? Where are the people screaming about being scammed? People crying for updates from the company that hasn't given them updates in months or years, and the people desperately trying to get a refund. As a Kickstarter, this is just far too boring. September 2020, Ninetail started another Kickstarter, this time for Venus Blood Hollow. This has an estimated delivery date of December 2021. As of yet, nothing has been delivered, but they've got time to ensure that their Kickstarter comments remain boring. Having looked through a fair amount of visual novels in this video, I'd say they're generally quite bad. Some struggle with getting the visual novel out within the estimated time, or release it with a poor translation. And then there are major problems with regards to getting physical releases out within a reasonable time frame, or releasing a promised Vita port. Sekai Project, Frontwing and Solpress are especially bad cases of this, and I would imagine that they've lost a lot of support through these Kickstarters. Not only are they pissing off their consumers, but the ones they piss off the most are the people who've backed at the higher tiers for physical copies and goods. So the consumers they piss off the most are the ones most willing to spend a lot of money on their products. Nekonyan and Ninetail seems to have done quite a good job so far, but of course they've only completed one Kickstarter each so far, so they don't have a long track record. Anyways, hopefully the future of Kickstarters for visual novel is brighter than what it has been up to this point, and hopefully people eventually get the delayed products that they paid for. So this was the end of the video. If you liked the video, maybe leave a like, and also if you think videos like this are interesting, then maybe subscribe for more videos in the future.